I had a whole introduction plan that I just felt. There's only one person in the. Okay, I'm gonna just do that again. And all right, epic stream fail. All right, I'm gonna just do that again. Introducing the one and only man himself, the notorious man who fails introductions and makes his mic muted when he doesn't mean to. The man whose microphone keeps for some reason muting itself on purpose, or on accident, and then just automatically mutes himself. The one and only, the notorious Faoplich. Alright, there we go. And I'm gonna have to switch mics. Yeah, make it halfway through the stream and I already gotta switch my mic. Alright. All right, so y'all should be able to hear me right now. Y'all should be able to hear me now. All right, so I'm can hear me. You can hear me. All right, good, good, good. Also, the Rumble stream has less latency. I just realized that. It's rare because I thought it was supposed to be the other way around, but no, it's not on Rumble Studio at least, I guess. All right, let me see here. Do some other stuff. Let me go promote the stream. I just promoted the stream a little bit, so that should get some more people on here. Oh, y'all. So, anyways, in case you're new here, let me just replay this again. In case you're new here and don't know much about slap fighting, here's an example. Mm-hmm. It goes a good E and a good KO. And on to the next slide. At least. All right, so on the first topic, fantasy fights. Yep, that's right. We're starting the first episode off of fantasy fights. We're going straight into the crazy side of things for the first episode. Also, let me go on Instagram and promote myself on there. Let's go on Insta. People are on live right now. Alright, just making a post on Insta story. Dang, 5 people on the YouTube, 3 people on the Rumble. That's a lot of concurrence. Friends. That's because I'm doing slap fighting and this gets a lot of views. Alright, first. Yeah, so let's started with this podcast. Let's get on to the topic. Shut myself a little bit. Let's get on to the topic. So, the first fantasy fight, the Bell versus Turp Daddy Slim. 5 rounds for the heavyweight championship. Now, the reason why I wanted to see this match is because of this. Now, Turpin used to fight at heavyweight, right? What is saying? Recently, Turpin's been missing weight. Ate at light heavyweight. He's had a couple of incidents where he missed weight, and that got me thinking: what if Turpin just move up to heavyweight? Because why not you just move up to heavyweight? He's done everything he's needed to do at light heavyweight. He KO'd Wolverine, KO'd Static, KO'd the Kryptonian. He has some impressive wins at light heavyweight. But maybe he just shouldn't try being the champion of light heavyweight. Maybe instead what he needs to do is he should fight the belt at heavyweight. Because one, this would be an entertaining fight, and two, this would actually be a great matchup for Turpin. You know, both the Bell and Turpin have defeated Wolverine, but the Bell, he defeated Wolverine by decision. It took him to the 5th round before he dropped him. Turpin knocked Wolverine out on the 5th round and dropped him in the 2nd round. He did my favorite KO in the entire sport, where he KO'd Wolverine in the 5th round. And if these two were to fight each other, this would be an interesting matchup between the two of them. Although Turpin got knocked out by Vernon Cathy last year, so we know that it takes a lot to knock out Austin Turpin, since you got to be the literal hardest hitter in the sport to knock him out. So him versus the Bell would be an interesting matchup. The next match, 2023, the Bell versus 2023, the Machine. 3 rounds at heavyweight. Now, you might be wondering why I put these 2023 tags here. Well, basically, this is an alternate universe where, imagine this. Imagine if in an alternate universe, what if John Davis never went down the middleweight? What if he stayed at heavyweight? And what if he eventually fought the Bell? Now, this will be an interesting matchup, because in an alternate world where, let's say, John Davis stays at heavyweight, let's say he beats Perez and stays at heavyweight, which I just realized this opens up a possibility for other fights, because in this alternate world, Dorian Perez would be the one moving down the middleweight, not John Davis. So we'd see John Davis versus the Bell potentially at heavyweight. Reason why this is interesting is because these two are some very good fighters. John Davis, former pound for pound #1 to go to the sport, or to go to the middleweight division, and John Davis is one of the best fighters in the sport's history. Read the Bell, he's the current pound for pound #1 of the sport. And other than John, and seeing as the Bell as of now, the Bell has surpassed John Davis, with him now having more title defenses than John Davis. But these two were known for being the best in the sport, or at the time, or the best in the sport. The best in the sport at the time. All right, guys. So it is 1:13 a.m. I'm hearing strange noises outside my window. Okay, so ignoring the fact that my neighbors are casually pulling a prank on me, because what's crazy is I know it's my neighbor. They're just pulling a prank on me. That's the crazy part. I know it's my neighbors, and I know, they're trying to pull a prank on me or something like that. So ignoring the fact that my neighbors are casually trying to make me think I'm out to have a million people swarm my house with, I don't know, pitchforks or something like that. Because I don't know if me suggesting Turpin versus the Bell will cause a bunch of people to want to pull up to my house with pitchforks, and that's what all the banging on my window is. But anyways, on this matchup, the Bell versus the Machine. This would be a great matchup in my personal opinion. Imagine heavyweight the Bell fighting heavyweight John Davis. This would be a great match. And me personally, I think this would probably be a war. This would be one of those matches where it would go to full distance. It would go to 3 rounds, and I think what would happen is John Davis would win by decision. And so yeah. Anyways, next matchup, the Bell versus Static. 3 rounds at heavyweight. Not saying another alternate universe worse, Static never goes down to light heavyweight. Let's say in an alternate universe he stays at heavyweight. And let's say he has to fight the Bell early on. I should have put the 2023 thing here like I did with and with him in the machine. But let's say the bell versus Static. Let's say, hey, Static never goes down to light heavyweight. He stays at heavyweight, right? And let's say he fights the bell early on. Now, this is a great matchup because we're not talking about the Static that got knocked out by Austin Hurtman and got a DQ against Aziel Rodriguez and Russell Rivera. Bro, no. We're talking about Static when he was in the prime of his career. This is light heavyweight champ. Oh, I mean, in this alternate universe, since I said at heavyweight, so this isn't light heavyweight champ Static, but this is like Static, like about to be the champion Static, and this is an alternate universe, like just what I said with the Bell versus the Machine at heavyweight, alternate timeline on the universe. Now, let's say in some alternate universe, the Bell versus Static happens. Static never goes down to light heavyweight and stays at heavyweight. And let's say he beats Donovan Cross and he stays at heavyweight. Then we wait, or whatever the reason was for him going down to light heavyweight. Let's just say, hey, he just decides he doesn't want to go down to light heavyweight. Instead, he wants to fight at heavyweight still. So the Bell versus Static happens early on in their careers. A fight between the two of them, to see who gets to fight the winner of Wolverine versus Darius for the heavyweight belt. Now, this would be an interesting match. Imagine seeing the same Static you saw at Power Slap 1 fighting the same Bell you saw at Power Slap 1. This would be a great fight, and I think that this would also go to a war. Me personally, the way I see this match ending is this match would either A, end in Static winning via decision, or B, the Bell winning via KO. What would probably happen is this: they probably go to war, and it would probably end with either the Bell getting around 3 KO on Static, or Static getting around 3 decision on the Bell. Like, this would be one of those matches where you probably could tell who the winner is based on just the first 2 rounds, because this is one of those matches where it's more, or if the Bell, if Static can handle strikes from the Bell, then he wins the fight via decision. But if he can't handle a strike from the Bell, then the Bell wins via KO. Like, this is one of those matches. Kind of like I remember going into the Crazy Lion versus Dumpling, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking to myself when that match was announced, I was thinking to myself, if the Crazy Lion, not the Crazy Lion, though. I think I was thinking to myself, like, I remember going into that match, I was thinking to myself, if the Crazy Lion can't win, no, not that match, it was Montoya versus the Frank, though. Montoya versus the Frank at 12 had a complete different, we're going into that match, I was thinking to myself, because I couldn't decide or make a pick or choose who I thought would win that match, because I had 2 predictions in mind for that match at 12. I was thinking to myself, if the Frank can KO Montoya in the first round or second round, or if he drops him in the first round or wobbles him in the first round, then he can KO him in the second round and get the KO win. But Montoya can take a strike from the Frank in the first round, then Montoya wins via decision, because then he'll be able to take all the Frank's strikes. Although in that case, I was given a completely different result from what I was predicting. Then when Montoya ended up knocking out the Frank in his first ever win via knockout, via an impressive knockout at 12. Though here at the Bell versus Static, I think it would be something like that with the prediction I had for my versus the Frank. It would be something like, if Static can take 1 strike from the Bell in the first round, guess what? He eats every other strike, wins via decision. If the Bell is able to drop Static in the first round, not knock him out, drop him, then he could get a knockout on the second or third round, most likely third round. Like, this is one of those types of fights. So so in this case, this would be either one of them could win type situation. Static via decision, the Bell via KO. It still is going to go 3 rounds either way. So next fight, 2023 Chris Thomas versus 2023 Jules Scott. 5 rounds for the first welterweight championship. Let's say in an alternate universe, what if KO Chris and Jules Scott fought for the championship in 2023? Which, fun fact, this actually could have happened. Yeah, you heard me. This could have happened. And Jules Scott and KO Chris were originally being like laid up to, or like built up to fight each other for the welterweight championship. Like, during the filming of season 1 of Road to the Title, it's clearly obvious that they were trying to set up Chris Thomas versus Jules Scott for the welterweight championship during the filming of it. Like, you see the welterweight fights fights that are being aired during that season, and you can tell that they were trying to set up these two fighting each other until we get to the episode in the fight where Jules Scott faces Jesus Diaz and he loses via DQ, meaning he can't go on to fight Chris Thomas for the welterweight championship. Yep. But here's the thing: let's say if in an alternate universe where Jules Scott never did that illegal wind-up foul, Jules Scott never did the stepping foul. He didn't illegal wind up in a stepping foul in that episode, right? 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 In an alternate universe where he doesn't do any fouls and he wins that fight, what if these two fought each other for the first welterweight championship? Yep, at Parasite 1 instead. Their 2023 versions fighting each other for the first welterweight championship. Well, for starters, I think what would happen is this. One, despite the fact that I put 5 rounds for the first welterweight championship, which I'm really only putting that there for aesthetic purposes because it's a title fight and a 5-round fight and is a main event or co-main fight. What would have been a co-main fight? I personally think that the person who would win this fight is Jewel Kid Diamond Scott. Yep, that's right. Jewel Scott will win this fight. And you're probably sitting there thinking to yourselves, hearing me say, hey, that, and thinking to yourselves, Faoplich, how do you think Jewel Scott's going to win this? Simple. This is just going to basically be a welterweight equivalent of Cathy versus Hintz, where in that fight, Vernon Cathy, whose chin hadn't really been tested yet, fought AJ Hintz, gets knocked out in the first slap he takes in his career, because in that fight, Vernon Cathy drops AJ Hintz gets back up, and then immediately delivers a perfect knockout blow on Vernon Cathy. That is what would happen in Chris Thomas versus Jewel Scott. It would probably go down the exact same way. Chris Thomas drops Jewel Scott in the first round. He probably starts taunting him or something, or dancing, or smoking meth or something, to try and taunt Jewel Scott. Then Jewel Scott gets up. Once it's his turn to strike, he goes on 2, or on 3, and he just slaps Chris Thomas, and instantly we see Chris Thomas just get flatlined, and immediately just on the ground, completely unconscious. They need to call in the ambulance for Chris Thomas because he's just on the ground unconscious. That is what would probably happen. It would just basically be welterweight AJ Hintz versus Vernon Cathy, in my personal opinion. There would be literally no difference from this match and Vernon Cathy versus AJ Hintz. Like it would literally go down exactly like that. Only difference is it's welterweight and it's Chris Thomas and Jewel Scott instead, and Jewel Scott would win and become the welterweight champion again. And unlike Chris Thomas, Jewel Scott probably, and not to mention, and considering the fact that this could also set up an even crazier timeline, because remember, if you know your power slap history well, you know that Chris Thomas got suspended for being on board for which is the reason why he didn't defend his belt all of 2023, because he was on suspension. But if Jewel Scott were to win, he wouldn't be suspended, because guess what? He didn't test for no banned substances. Or no substances. But let me look at this. Hang on. Opening the Nevada State Athletic Concession. Hang on. Power Slap 1, Nevada. Just want to make sure. Yeah, Jewel Scott, I think wasn't on no substances, because there were a lot of fighters on substances in the first event. Chris Thomas was one of them, but Jewel Scott wouldn't have gotten suspended. And if Jewel Scott doesn't get suspended, that means he would probably go on to defend his belt, and he would probably fight Waylon Frost next for the belt. He probably would go and fight Waylon Frost, defend his belt against Waylon Frost. We'd finally see Jewel Scott versus Waylon Frost, which is another fight everyone wants to see but hasn't happened yet. Yeah, and what I would assume happened is he'd probably defend his belt against Waylon Frost and us, and then he'd probably go on to defend it against me. Muni. He's except unlike Chris Thomas, he could actually defend it early. And we could also see him defend it at maybe power or slap 5 or 3 or something. I'm thinking then maybe Jewel Scott maybe has a long title reign, or maybe what could happen is he loses it to Emmanuel Muniz when he finally fights him. Maybe they go to 5-round decision and then he loses his belt. And whatnot. But yeah, this could set up an even crazier timeline or alternate universe. In this alternate universe, where Will Scott fights Chris Thomas. Now, next slide. Turp Daddy Slim versus Anthony Smith. So I was hoping there'd be more people in chat because I was just us originally planning on just showing this slide and just letting y'all go at it and not even give any commentary and just let y'all go at it. I mean, I was gonna give commentary, like not commentary, but I was originally just gonna show this slide, give commentary, and just wait to see all the reactions in chat from people wondering what this matchup is. But this is actually serious, by the way. So, as you may know, Anthony Smith said he wanted to join Power Slap, but Hunter White wouldn't let him. All right, guys. So we're just gonna act like there was just no lag at all just now. But we're just gonna act like I wasn't experiencing any issues or technical difficulties right now. We're just gonna pretend none of that ever happened. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So another good matchup that I have is Turp Daddy Slim versus Anthony Smith. F. So I was just now talking about this, except that my webcam decided to have a seizure. So, oh, now I'm back. But anyways, Trip Andy Slim versus Anthony Smith. Now, this is a great match in my opinion. Since remember, Anthony Smith said he wanted to join Power Slap, and he was actually a catcher for Power Slap at Power Slap 6. Fun fact. I think that was the event he was a catcher in. But Hunter Campbell and Dana White wouldn't let him join. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the fact that uh, and as y'all may know, Turp Daddy Slim's a big name in Power Slap. Turpin's the biggest and most famous fighter in Power Slap. He's both the biggest in terms of popularity and the biggest terms of weight. If it wasn't obvious by the fact that he keeps missing weight, so he's basically the biggest in the sport at every day thing. So what if Anthony Smith and Turp Daddy Slim fought each other? You got the face of the sport fighting a big name UFC fighter. This will be basically a big name main event for Power Slap, and this should be something that they put on co-mains, or heck, maybe make it be the main event of a Power Slap event. And because this will draw in a lot of viewers. This is more one of those like money fights that could just draw in a lot of viewers. Anthony Smith versus Turp Daddy Slim. Although we all know that Turpin would probably just knock out Anthony Smith in the first round, and this would not even be close. Like what probably happen is this: Turpin probably misses weight. Anthony Smith wins the coin toss as a result, or there won't even be a coin toss because Turpin misses weight. So Anthony Smith goes for or slaps Turpin. Turpin eats it. Turpin's turn. He knocks Anthony Smith out. So like this match, we basically already know the outcome of, but this would just be an interesting match, mainly due to all the hype that would be around it. Like Anthony Smith joining Power Slap, although like a better fight for Anthony Smith if he would have joined Power Slap, like a better fight for him would be something like maybe if he fought Delvin Hamlet or Cody Weisel or Garrett Blakesley or Logan Greenhall or TJ Thomas. Like those would be some light heavyweights that would be better matchups for him. Also, this is only in the concept of he's fighting in light heavyweight, but those would be like better opponents for him. Not freaking Turpin and as his first opponent. Like he's gonna pull out there. He's gonna go first since we all know Turpin's gonna miss weight, so he's gonna go for first. Smacks Austin Turpin. Turpin eats it. Then when it's Turpin's turn, we're gonna see Anthony Smith get knocked out cold since like he'll have no fighting experience up until that point, but still, that would be a good match because of the hype around it. Next match, Turpin versus Alex Pereira, Muhammad Ankalaev. Now, if you can't tell already, these next few matches are just basically money fights that would basically just be big name fights that would generate a lot of viewers. Now, imagine if Turpin fought Muhammad Ankalaev or Alex Pereira, and you might be wondering why am I saying Alex Pereira or Muhammad Ankalaev. At the time of making this, Alex Pereira was the light heavyweight champion of the UFC. Then Muhammad Ankalaev outstruck him and became the light heavyweight champion. And in a fight that a lot of people can't seem to just accept that Alex Pereira got outstruck in. And as a Pereira fan, yeah, I will have to admit, he got outstruck. It wasn't just Muhammad Ankalaev holding him against the cage in the later rounds. He literally got outstruck in the first few rounds and just spammed leg kicks out of hopes that he'd break Ankalaev. But anyway, if Turpin would have fought Muhammad Ankalaev, this would be a big name money fight. You got the face of light heavyweight be weighing Power Slaps, and considering the fact that Power Slaps light heavyweight division is basically cursed, and this guy right here is literally the reason why the light heavyweight division is cursed in Power Slap at the moment. But let's say the face of the sport, the face of light heavyweight, Turp Daddy Slim fought Alex Pereira, Muhammad Ankalaev. Now, once again, just like the Anthony Smith fight, this will probably end and this will probably go down like this. Turpin misses weight. Pereira and Ankalaev win the coin toss as a result. They slap Turpin. He eats it. Then he knocks them out. Turpin versus John Jones. Same thing here. It's literally the same thing here. Your only difference is how many people would be viewing it. Like these are basically just fights to make a Power Slap just wants to suddenly, I don't know, or get more viewers than they already have. Or if they ever want to sell pay-per-views, then just make these fights. Because I got a feeling there's probably going to be someone out here who wants to see us if they ever had pay-per-view events. So these right here were the meme fights I added on here. Now let's go on to the Real Deal versus Dumpling. Yes. Smallest fighter in the sport. Robert the Real Deal Trillo. 5'7", 154.5 pounds, 67 inch reach, and 6.5 hand length. He's a lightweight champion of Power Slap. Let's make him fight Dumpling. A 350 or 380 pound 5'9" super heavyweight. Yes. Totally perfectly fair matchup. There's totally no weight difference here. No disparities in weight. This is a totally fair matchup. Okay, so this right here is what I like to call the David v. Goliath fight. Now, you know those wacky MMA fights you see on them Eastern European MMA leagues, like the ones where it's like the super heavyweight guy versus like three girls or 5 lightweight guys, or the ones where it was like Eddie Hall versus those 2 skinny guys, or the ones where it's like 2v1 MMA and it's like 2 out of shape 8 fat guys versus 1 in shape fat guy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about if y'all watch the same crazy combat sports videos I do. Ew. So imagine a wacky fight like that. Imagine something like that. But in Power Slap. And that's where we got the Real Deal versus Dumpling. Have the smallest fighter in the sport fight the biggest fighter in the sport. I mean, Dumpling's not the biggest fighter in the sport, but like just the champion of the smallest weight class versus champion in the biggest weight class, basically. Just no weight class, just pure chaos for 5 rounds. Now, the crazy part is, I honestly think Robert Trujillo would be the one winning this. Yep, that's right, not Dumpling. Instead, the Real Deal. He would be the one winning this fight. That's the crazy part. Dumpling isn't even going to be the winner in this fight. Instead, the Real Deal is. Because I'd say that the Real Deal has more technique than Dumpling does. He's more skilled than Dumpling is. In terms of opponents, the Real Deal has more impressive wins than Dumpling. Lang, if I'm having his win over Dakota McGregor or Jules Scott. Got. Meanwhile, Dumpling's only impressive win is against the Crazy Along. And since before anyone brings out a single European slap fight Dumpling has ever done. On Dumpling, I will admit, okay, look, Dumpling is experience. I don't know what I'm saying here. Dumpling is experience. He does have impressive wins, especially since given the fact that Dumpling's fought a bunch of European slap fighting leagues where he has to deal with cheaters, palm striking him and palm punching him. Then there was a time he fought Zales, and Zales, being the cheating fraud he is, just kept clubbing Dumpling, flinching, chinning, etc. And Dumpling just trying to have a respectable slap fight. And Zales is just trying to be as dirty as possible. And he also fought Zales while he was on steroids, and he arguably won the fight against Zales. Punchdowns are so criticism, but I still do believe that the Real Deal wins this one. So, in this David versus Goliath fight, where there's no weight class, just pure chaos, 5 rounds of pure chaos, I think the Real Deal wins. Next fight. Now, Davis and Rodriguez versus Kanikoa. Let's say there are tag team slap fights, because there's tag team fights of slap fight championship. Let's say if there are tag team fights in power slap. Let's say if they were to do something like that. Now I'm not fully sure on how slap fight championships tag team matches work, since I don't really tune in for team fights. But let's say Power Slap would have something like it, and they would try and make a rule set for tag team. Although I don't even know how it works. It's like I'm thinking of slap fight championship. It's tag team, but I don't know tag team and slap fight championship all the way. But let's say they have some type of tag team and they figure out just a way to make it work. Maybe like what they'll do. They'll have one fighter go up first, and if the other fighter, and then if the one fighter goes up, loses a round, and have their friend tag in for them. Keyword there, a round. So you don't have to get knocked out, you don't have to get dropped, you just have to lose the round. So let's say, hey, Rodriguez goes up, he fights Kaneko. He wins the first round. They go to the second round, he loses the second round. Then he'll tag in John Davis. John Davis goes and fights Kanikoa. Well, let's say he wins the third round. Then Godfrey comes in, and he and Godfrey wins the fourth round. Then Rodriguez comes back in, and he wins the fifth round, winning the fight. Something like that. That's what I want to see. Something like that, like a tag team match like that. And make it be Davis versus Rodriguez versus Godfrey versus Kaneko. This will be the tag team fight to make. Have Davis and Rodriguez, who are basically just the goats of the middleweight division, are basically legends at middleweight and have fought each other many times, versus Godfrey and Kaneko. They kind of have a run in middleweight, and they're basically the face of the newcomers at middleweight that are doing good and are being dominant fighters as newcomers. That would be this: 2 OGs versus 2 newcomers at middleweight. 2v2 5-round match at middleweight. The next fight, the final fight, Rodriguez versus Drain for the BMF belt. Yeah, you heard me, BMF belt. Now, this is a fight I say only make if either one of these two retire. So, let's say if Wesley Drain retires, let's see how Rodriguez fight him at middleweight for the BMF belt. Now, I know Wesley Drain and Naziel Rodriguez are both moving down to welterweight, so this would probably happen at welterweight and not at middleweight. But either way, it doesn't matter if it happens at welterweight, middleweight. Just have them both fight for a BMF belt. Have it be because Rodriguez versus Drain is a fight that literally needs to happen, and is one of those fights where you stop and think for a minute, how does this never happen? This fight has never even been a fight that has ever been considered ever. Like Dana White, Erica, Frank Lamasella, they've never sat down and thought, hey, let's have these two great fighters at middleweight, who both fought the champion at middleweight, and both, and although they both lost against the champion in at middleweight, they both put up a really good fight and showed that they were really great fighters in their matches against the champion. So let's have them both fight each other of there for some type of belt, whether it be an interim belt or BMF belt. This would be just such a great fight. Rodriguez versus Drain. They're both very similar in skill set. They both are very similar in their wins and record. Though, Azio Rodriguez has only ever had true losses to John Davis. Like, he has a DQ loss against AJ Hinch, but other than that, his only real losses are to John Davis. Wesley Drain has a couple of losses on his record, though most of his losses early on in his career were mostly due to him doing fouls and losing via decision or DQ. Until recently when Isaiah Kiones and Klein Kankoa knocked him out. But prior to that, he was mostly losing due to fouls and DQs. So imagine if these two fought each other. But imagine if they fought each other in a 5-round war. Now here's the thing. You can't just have them fight in a 5-round war for nothing. Like, you can't just say Rodriguez versus Drain for 5-round war. Probably the biggest fight in the sport's history. Rodriguez versus Drain. Right, and you need to give them some type of reward, especially if in the context of one of them ever retires, which I think that'll be the way we get this fight, since considering the fact that for some reason, Dana White and Franklin Masella and Erica and Hunter Campbell, whoever is in charge of matchmaking and Power Slap, they seem to all just keep avoiding trying to make this matchup that literally everyone wants to see. And I think Azio Rodriguez and Wesley Drain both would love getting this fight with each other, because it would allow them both to test out each other's skill sets, because they are very, very similar in skill set. They're very similar in the record, with them both only having their only real true losses. Well, not Wesley Drain's case, because he got knocked out by Isaiah and Klein Kankoa. But like prior to Wesley Drain getting knocked out by Kiones and Kankoa, prior to those fights, like I'm gonna say like last year, prior to him fighting Kiones and Kankoa, his record was pretty similar to Azio Rodriguez. This is in the context of the only real losses they had were John Davis. Although Wesley Drain also had a lot of DQ losses or losses that were decision losses due to fouls early on in his career. But other than that, his only real loss, his first ever true real loss was like John Davis. When that match, although John Davis broke his arm, John Davis still was able to power through and get the decision win against Wesley Drain. And then Azio Rodriguez's case, his only true loss is other than his DQ loss against Static. But when I say true losses, I mean losses where like a fighter actually lost, like decision, not just due to fouls or like they get knocked out. His only true losses are to John Davis, and John Davis is the guy who was the first to give these two their only true loss that wasn't just because of a DQ or due to them doing a bunch of fouls. And this is a fight that we basically just need to see. We need to see Rodriguez versus Drain. Everyone wants to see this fight, Rodriguez versus Drain. And considering the fact that Dana White, for some reason, which I put a picture of him right here, he seems to, for whatever reason, just not want to have these two who fight each other. I don't know what it is, but the people in charge of Power Slap just do not want to see this fight. For some reason, despite the fact that everyone wants to see it, the people in charge of Power Slap keep trying to avoid making this matchup from happening. And although the two of them are going down to welterweight from my ears, I know Azio Rodriguez is going down to welterweight, but I heard somewhere, and although I have no confirmation for this because I can't find information of this, I have heard that apparently Wesley Drain's planning on going down to welterweight, so that could also be happening. But I really just want to see Rodriguez versus Drain. That's the fight everyone wants to see. And most likely the way we're going to get this fight is if one of them ever retires, since considering the fact that the people in charge of Power Slap just do not want to let these two fight each other for whatever a reason. What's probably going to be happening is this: these two are one of these two is probably going to retire. Like, let's say if like I don't know, in 5 years or 10 years. Let's say if like it's 5 years or 10 years. Wesley Drain's 42. Azzy Rodriguez is 41. When Wesley Drain's about to retire because of age or something like that. 10 years later, years later, and let's say, hey, if Wesley Drain's ready to retire, he's ready to retire. 10 years later, or Drain's 42, Rodriguez is 41. I'm not sure or if Rodriguez is older than Drain, since the picture of Rodriguez here is from Power Slap 9, and the picture of Drain here is from Power Slap 12. So I don't know if they're the same age or if Rodriguez is older than Drain here, since these are from two completely different events that happened months apart from each other. So I don't know who's the older one and who's the younger one here, but let's say if Wesley Drain 10 years from now, he's 42, Azzy Rodriguez is 41, they retire. Let's say that this should be the fight that they get at the end of their career. Just the fight everyone wanted to see. Although best case scenario is they do this early. That's the best case scenario. They do this early. Best case scenarios maybe after we see Rodriguez versus Blackburn or Rodriguez versus Muniz, whoever he fights at welterweight now, he's at welterweight. Maybe as soon as Wesley Drain is there, the first fight Azzy Rodriguez the first fight Wesley Drain gets is against Azzy Rodriguez at welterweight. And although Rodriguez versus Drain should be a 5-round fight, if they do end up doing this fight early on, because let's say they finally make this match without us having to wait till years later when they finally decide to come around and let these two fight each other. Let's say Dana White decides to do the smart thing and give us this fight since we all want to see it, and we see Rodriguez versus Drain at welterweight, and it's Wesley Drain's welterweight debut fight. Then it should be a 5-round fight. They should make it be a 5-round fight. And make it be a main event. And that's why also part of why I threw in the BMF belt thing, because then that way they can make it be a main event. Throw in the BMF belt, because even without the context of retirement, because let's say if Dana White decides to do the smart thing, and same thing for Franco and Marcella, they do the smart thing and they let these two fight each other. They just let them fight each other, since that's what we all want to see. Then Dana should make a BMF belt, and then make this be the main event, and boom, now you got Rodriguez versus Drain, 5-round main event. Now me personally, my personal prediction on a fight like this is it would probably go to decision, and what would probably happen is this: it would be Azzy Rodriguez on the round 5 by unanimous or split decision, or be Wesley Drain by split decision, and this would probably be like just a great fight between these two. Like, this would be the type of fight that would probably be fight of the year contender. This would definitely be fight of the night of whatever fight card they headline as a main event. 2, it would definitely be fight of the year contender, or maybe it would even be fight of the year. This would just be a great fight between these two. Like, this would be a legendary war between the two of them. Especially since they're also very similar in skill set, which I know I mentioned that a million times. But still, this would just be a great war between the two of them. It will go all 5 rounds, with Azzy Rodriguez winning via unanimous decision or split decision, or Wesley Drain via split decision, and it would just be a great fight all around. And it would be main event worthy, and then one of them gets the BMF belt. Azzy Rodriguez gets the BMF belt, or Wesley Drain gets the BMF belt. This would be a great fight to make. Anyways, so that's it for the slides. So now that I'm done fantasy fights, what else is there to talk about? So we just did the fantasy fight topic, and well, I guess I'll end stream here. I'll just end stream here for now, since considering the fact that I started the podcast a bit abruptly, if I will admit, And so I only thought of a topic of fantasy fights at the first episode. But hey, this is the first episode. This is the debut episode where I'm supposed to test out everything and see how this podcast go. Try out new things, take suggestions, etc. So while you guys are here, for those of you guys still in chat or in the comment section, for those of you who are watching the stream, please give me some suggestions like how I can further improve this. Don't matter if you're on Rumble or YouTube, just give me a couple of suggestions, alright? Episode 2 will only be on Rumble. Because remember, like I said before, every episode that isn't a 5th episode will be only on Rumble. So 2, 3, 4, or Rumble only. 5 will be on all platforms. Although I am planning on maybe like only streaming half of the stream on YouTube. Because like on Rumble Studio, you can do this thing where I'm about to show you guys this. Now, YouTube people, you guys are about to get mad at me right now. Hang on. This might end the stream, but I'm about to end the stream anyway. So, on YouTube, you can do this thing. On Rumble Studio, you can do this thing that obscures the stream with a Rumble branded overlay on all of our platforms and ends the stream on other platforms, forcing people to come over to Rumble to watch the full stream. That could be what I do instead of just straight up making 2, 3, and 4 not be on YouTube. But anyways, yeah, so, we're about to end. So those of you guys who missed out on the stream, I'll put some timestamps up in the description for those of you guys who watch it, or I'll put an edited version of the stream on here instead. So, that's it for today's stream. Bye, guys. Bye. This has been a good stream today. Hey, and I'll see you guys soon. And I just realized my jersey for some reason looks like 10 times bigger than it actually is right now. I don't know why, but anyway, boys, yeah, man, that's it for today's stream. Bye, guys. Bye. Put some timestamps down, and yeah, just give me some suggestions I could like improve the stream. But other than that, I'm out of here. Peace out, y'all. I'm gone.
My style is ridiculous.
Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim. Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim.
We ain't here to hurt nobody.
Skibbity.
Wanna see you work your body.
Skibbity.
When you roll it in the party, everybody put up their hands. I get a half a mil for my piece, you get a couple grand. Never gon' see the day that I ain't got the upper hand. I'm respected from California, I ain't way down to Japan. I'm a real producer and you just a piano man. Songs on top the charts, I heard them, I'm not a fan. Niggas talking greedy, I'm the one that gave them they chance. Somebody need to tell them that they can't do it like I can.
Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim. Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim.
We ain't here to hurt nobody.
Skibbity.
Wanna see you work your body.
Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim. Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim.
We ain't here to hurt nobody.
Skibbity.
Wanna see you work your body.
Skibbity.
Roll it in the party, everybody put up their hands. I get a half a mil for my piece, you get a couple grand. Never gon' see the day that I ain't got the upper hand. I'm respected from California, I ain't way down to Japan. I'm a real producer and you just a piano man. Songs on top the charts, I heard them, I'm not a fan. Niggas talking greedy, I'm the one that gave them they chance. Somebody need to tell them that they can't do it like I can.
Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim. Skibbity bop bop bop, yes yes. Skibbity bop bop nim nim.
We ain't here to hurt